Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you today, talking a little bit about the upcoming Fastlane pay-per-view. Honestly, when Fastlane was announced, killing off the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, I was a little bit bummed, but I think there is a plus to go along with this. I think that, I definitely don't think that WWE is retiring the Elimination Chamber, and when it does pop up again, it will be spontaneous. And, the fact that WWE will have to have 6 performers that are over in the main event is a really good thing. The Elimination Chamber, when they've been running 2 of these the last few years, definitely guys like Santino Marella being added into this definitely was always a little bit of a subtraction in my mind. But the fact of, you have one main event, a lot like that SummerSlam, that had Goldberg and Triple H involved. The main event at SummerSlam. That was a damn good Elimination Chamber, and I think that's a really good thing that's going to be coming up down the road. Fastlane, in my mind, I thought of Limp Bizkit. I know that I still live in 1998, 1999. When they redid Life in the Fast Lane, that would be a pretty kick-ass but very dated song to go along with it. Check it out on iTunes if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But last night, because of the huge snowstorm hitting the East Coast, WWE, they had to go into a little bit of desperation mode. Everybody saw it. They went to the WWE headquarters and they filmed some interviews with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, a lot of the big names stopping by to, really put over the fact of how big the Royal Rumble was and where they're going from there. Now, I don't know if you're like me. I stayed at the party I was at the Royal Rumble, but I had to get home. I honestly wanted to get to bed because I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work. But I did stay just for a few minutes. I didn't see the horrible Rock and Roman Reigns promo. I did see Triple H. No, Triple H wasn't on there. I did see John Cena and Rusev. It seemed that they were going backstage to do a John Cena interview talking about him not having the championship. And partway through, he was interrupted by the runner-up in the Royal Rumble, Rusev, who started yelling things. And John Cena got really pissed off. I seem to think that that's what they were doing to set up the WrestleMania match, but now announced is the Fastlane match was announced on Twitter yesterday, saying, tune in to Fastlane in February on the WWE Network. You're going to see John Cena versus Rusev match announced. No promos, no nothing, just 2 guys yelling at each other backstage and getting pulled apart. And there you go. It seemed like WWE was sort of, fast timing to get to the big the big announcement. Maybe they were going to set that up on Monday Night Raw and they didn't want to wait until SmackDown Live on Thursday. But to me, honestly, I have had Rusev versus John Cena as my WrestleMania match for a good little while. I didn't really see it coming down this way. I thought that Rusev would run through a few guys, and John Cena, and not seeing that he was going to be in the main event picture, but, John Cena would pick up the red, white, and blue flag, and he would, be that guy who would be waving the flag, coming down to the ring, not having a flag match, but just, stepping up for the red, white, and blue. Is what I thought that match was going to be. We've seen Rusev run through these guys. Biggie Langston was a damn good feud. I would love to see another Biggie Langston. I actually watched the main event because Biggie Langston and Rusev was the main event on there. Jack Swagger had a really good feud. Probably the most over Jack's been in his whole WWF career. I'm a big fan of Swagger, so I thought that was really cool. Even though the last one I knew, there was no chance in the world that Jack was going to win. But a little part of me did believe, what if? What if he does beat the Russian? And then, of course, they didn't really have a feud. They just had a match. But Rusev beat Sheamus, who was the United States Championship guy at the time. So that made a little bit of sense. And since then, Rusev just been holding on to the United States Championship. I know that he was a part of the Survivor Series main event. He was a part of the Royal Rumble. I can't really remember off the top of my head. I apologize what he did at TLC. But he's been involved in big things along the way. So you can tell that Rusev is moving up the card. He does have his is things about him that are a little bit weird. I think that honestly right now what makes Rusev more than anything is that undefeated streak. Something that a lot of guys from NXT have. It seems to be the one thing that they do with the guys. They put them on Raw. They say, what are we going to do with these guys? And we see, Adam Rose. We see Bo Dallas. These are rookies coming out of the NXT system, moving up to the Monday Night Raw main roster. And they just start beating guys. And then they get to the point of, well, they can't win all their matches or they're the next Goldberg, and we can't have 4 Goldbergs running around, so you have to have them lose a match, but you can't just have them lose to anybody. That was one of the best things that I saw for when Charlotte came up. Charlotte came out out of NXT. She was putting over the fact that they were having the pay-per-view where she was going to wrestle against Sasha Banks, and then Natalya beats her on Monday Night Raw in a couple minutes, and everybody goes crazy, like, hey, you're not putting her over, you're burying Charlotte. No, you're putting over the fact that Natalya is on the main roster, and she's better than Charlotte is because she's experienced. She's a veteran. You're not going to come right into the main roster and just start beating guys. And if you do this, you're really over, and you really are a good thing. But I don't know. I think honestly that Rusev versus Cena, even though it's at Fastlane, still is going to be the WrestleMania match. The one thing I can see is easily that Rusev will beat Cena in the first match. That they'll have some sort of a weird finish. That Rusev looks like he goes over, setting up the rematch. But this is just like what I was talking about with the last year, the Bray Wyatt versus John Cena match, was that I don't care if they have a rematch at Extreme Rules and Cena beats him then. I don't care if they do another rematch after that one at Payback and Cena beats him again. I don't care if Cena beats Bray Wyatt for the next 100 matches. As long as Bray Wyatt beats John Cena at WrestleMania, it's cool. Because people will always remember the fact that John Cena lost at WrestleMania and Bray Wyatt did it. People remember WrestleMania more than they remember Fastlane, more than they remember Payback, more than they remember Money in the Bank, anything. Any other main event is a main event of that show, but it doesn't stack up to what WrestleMania is. And I don't know. I think if you do the match at Fastlane, which more than likely they will rematch at WrestleMania because everybody loves to do the 3-month sort of feud, it's going to be Cena beating Rusev at WrestleMania. And then again, Cena beats Rusev on the main stage. Rusev loses his first match. That's a big deal. But what do you have to build off of that? It's just sort of, there's Rusev with his first loss. John Cena gets another WrestleMania win. And he's not going to get any more over than he is right now. So it makes no sense to me. But we'll see how great this feud is going to be. It'll start off on Thursday on the live SmackDown. And got a casket match. Kane versus Dana Bryan. That'll be fun.